Maayong adlaw mga higala, maayong adlaw Caraga. Aniya usab kita karon para sa ikaupat nga episode sa DILG Caraga Connect ug ang last nga episode para sa bulan sa Oktubre isip usab sa pagselebrar sa Local Government Month. Kini ang inyong Connect host Lucel Lozano sa istoryang panggoberno para sa katawhan. Kini ang DILG Caraga Connect. In line with the directive of the President His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to strengthen the linkage between the national and local government, the Department of the Interior and Local Government implemented the Decentralization and Local Government's Reform Advocacy as part of the Local Government Month celebration, which aims to enhance the representation of local government leagues and local government units at the national level as partners in national development, most especially on breaking grounds towards meaningful amendments to the Local Government Code of 1991.
The Local Government Code Month. The whole month of October is a Local Government Code Month with the theme Local Governance Breakthroughs, which focus on the stories of inclusivity, resilience, and excellence after 33 years when it was signed into law in 1990 and became effective in 1991. We were the first batch in DILG na talagang Local Government Code. I'm batch 35th, 1991.
OIC Chief RCP Fajardo of the Bureau of Local Government Development Planning Division shared a roadmap for amending the 1991 Local Government Code via Zoom. He highlighted several key pathways. First, barriers to achieving genuine local autonomy. Second, principles for strategically reviewing the LGC and partners in the LGC review process. He also presented a roadmap for the comprehensive review and amendment of the LGC, which is divided into 3 phases. Phase 1, building knowledge, gathering evidence, and establishing alliances with stakeholders. This phase will run from September 2023 to December 2024. Phase 2, setting policy reform priorities, filling in information gaps, and expanding efforts for LGC reforms. This will take place from January to September 2025. And Phase 3, mobilizing policy entrepreneurs and reform champions for the passage of legislative bills to amend the LGC, scheduled from October 2025 to March 2028. He also elaborated on the detailed components which each phase, covering the goals and objectives, strategies, milestones, activities, and expected outputs.
Compared to the gathering activities that we did.
The first presenter was Attorney Francis May Mordeno Polido, who discussed the proposed amendments to the 1991 Local Government Code. Following her were the representatives from the field operating units of DILG Caraga, namely Brian F. Edolzura, MLGOO representing DILG of Dinagat Islands, Maria Lourdes C. Martinez, Outcome Manager from the DILG Surigao del Sur, and lastly, Mila Riza L. Biniega, MLGOO representing DILG Agusan del Sur. For the issues, concerns, and recommendation, O.M. Martinez sought clarification from MLGOO Edolzura regarding the proposal to abolish the election of the Sangguniang Kabataan or SK, stating that the proposal might contradict the Philippine Constitution.
Pa rin yung mga ginagawa ng LGU for compliance pa rin. So doon natin bigyan.
Dr. Elizar elaborated O.M. Martinez's clarification on MLGOO Edolzura's proposal to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan or SK, raising concerns about its constitutionality and the anti-dynasty law. Edolzura clarified that if the SK is not abolished, its qualifications and election process should be improved, with candidates running as representatives from 15 to 30 age group.
Pero being in the academe, I was saying, even in Caraga, how?
Dr. Elizar emphasized that the focus should be on finding an alternative way to select SK representatives and addressing issues like political dynasties, as some candidates with relatives in office are running.
And what are the factors that promote, limit genuine participation of civil society organizations? Do we have data on that?
Attorney Pulido supported abolishing the SK, arguing it wouldn't be unconstitutional since only barangay officials are explicitly mentioned in the Constitution. She suggested a different representation model, like the Indigenous Peoples Mandatory Representative or IPMR, and highlighted the need to amend the SK structure due to the ongoing issues and complaints.
Ng anti-dynasty, siguro I also suggest
LGUs Chief Ray Gregory F. Haranilla asked Attorney Pulido if the designation of temporary vacancies under AO15 could be handled similarly to Foreign Travel Authority or FTA and Authority to Purchase Motor Vehicles or APMV. By delegating approval to a lower official like a regional director, Attorney Pulido responded that this would require examining the authority granted to the SILG and possibly amending the local government code.
Fairness siya sa Foreign Travel Authority and Authority to Purchase Motor Vehicles.
MLGOO Ian Hesta of Sison, Surigao del Norte raised 2 points for discussion. 1. Harmonizing RA 10951 with the Katarungang Pambarangay or KP law. He asked how statutory construction works in aligning RA 10951 with the KP law. Attorney Pulido explained that the offenses with fines up to 5,000 pesos or imprisonment under 1 year are excluded from KP, but those with higher fines, 5,000 to 40,000 pesos, would fall under KP. This interpretation helps decongest court cases and promote amicable settlements. Hesta agreed with the proposed amendments for consistency.
Kung di mo mabase sa strength na natun, di ba? Yan mo anticipate ang Yolanda. Parang sadya ka devastating. The way I see it, kung pwede.
2. Taxing power over peddlers. He suggested that the authority to tax mobile peddlers should be transferred from municipalities to barangays, since municipalities lack the capacity to monitor them. Attorney Pulido acknowledged the concern but noted that such a change would require careful review. MLGOO Idolzura expressed concern about potential double taxation, as peddlers pass through multiple barangays, but agreed that enforcement of peddler taxation is difficult in practice.
Is more wag yun na-implement sa LGU. In fact, kuan.
Dr. Elizar recommended that MLGOO Idolzura include the issue of taxing peddlers in the proposed amendments to the local government code.
People as at the same time spiraling level of
Further, Dr. Elizar, the moderator, highlighted O.M. Martinez's presentation and shared her thoughts as a civil society organization representative. She emphasized that CSO participation has not been fully optimized and accepted by local leadership, and asked for data and roadmap addressing the factors limiting genuine CSO involvement.
the points that were presented will also be more.
LGCDD Chief Yangson proudly announced that their office had successfully facilitated the registration of the CSO network for Caraga, marking a significant step toward genuine CSO participation in the region.
In a way, mas strengthen ang ato ang to start sa DILG siguro, no. By the way, we would like to inform you that we're able to facilitate the registration of the CSO network for Caraga.
O.M. Martinez suggested categorizing the CSOs, people's organizations, and academic institutions based on their needs to better target assistance from national government agencies and local government units.
The Constitution, what is against the Constitution? Okay, that's all.
Another issue was raised regarding improving the qualification and compensation of appointed barangay officials like secretary and treasurer. O.M. Martinez emphasized the need for measures that ensure genuine citizen participation, particularly at the LGU level.
Compliance pa rin. So doon natin bigyan ng emphasis, dagdag kung ano pang pwedeng measure on the establishment, strengthening of the CSO desk and the LGUs.
Attorney Pulido suggested raising the educational qualifications for these positions, especially for the treasurer, who should ideally have an accounting background.
no? But ultimo ang treasurer nila ihangyo pa nga walay background sa account.
MLGOO Idolzura added that if qualifications are increased, compensation should also rise, as the current pay of 3,000 to 4,000 a month is inadequate. This, she argued, would encourage qualified locals to stay in their barangays.
Kuan, ang manukot ana dek sa akong experience ang barangay karon, although bayad man pud sila, pero kung
MLGOO Binyega supported the idea of increasing compensation and also proposed making these positions permanent to ensure continuity and improve fiscal administration.
officials which is given na maganda election. But the barangay secretaries and treasurers who are very important sa day-to-day operations got changed po.
Lastly, MLGOO HESTA suggested enhancing the qualifications for barangay elective officials, ensuring they actively perform their legislative duties.
Increasing the penalty and the fine, di ba? Pending the proposal for amendments sa local government code. Naglaong kayo na dyan yung mga cases na
LGOO 6 Job Daniel B. Cashon emphasized the need for LGUs to focus more on disaster preparedness, not just response. He suggested codifying provisions from RA 10121 and the Climate Change Act into the local government code for clearer mandates.
But I think all the policies and even the law are already in place, no? Like for example, katong na-mention diha, unsay gid ang role sa local chief executive when it comes to climate change, addressing the issue on climate change. Actually, napod sa our Climate Change Act, nakabutang dito nga local government units man gyud. So when we speak of LGUs, murag by implication, it is the local chief executive who is primarily responsible to implement or to execute ay mga responsibilities.
MLGOO HESTA proposed a 70% preparedness and 30% response allocation for DRR funds, with clearer guidelines on how the preparedness funds should be used.
sa DRR, siguro ato kung pwede ma-propose na define pagdadyaw, unang ibutang sa 70%. Kaya ato na ito mga na-discuss na.
MLGOO Binyega recommended a DRR project menu to help LGUs plan, especially for evacuation centers.
Ang isuwan sa 20% development fund natay guide nga based sa COA, tanaw ni COA to nga mora to nga mga project.
Cashon also shared a CSO best practice from Agusan del Norte, where a CSO lead team monitors government infrastructure funds with incentives to encourage CSO participation.
Secondly, katong sa CSO nga participation is nastoryahan na to dire no. Kami pud ning yak dire. Ako na pong i-share sa Agusan del Norte for the provincial nga DRM Council na i-create nga monitoring and evaluation team nga as a mura siya og party sa DRM Council.
Sa DRR.
Sure,
Okay.
DRR. And then ang lead na mo sa committee is ang CSOs.
MLGOO Binyega supported this idea and suggested adding similar provisions to the LGC along with sanctions, which are currently lacking.
I appreciate that no nga ang sa Agusan del Norte nga dako na kayo yung appreciation sa mga CSOs. So when we have this best practice, why not we will make it a standard para sa tanan? Nainga na ato katong system na ginahimo, we will make it as a study as one of the best practices, and then we'll make it as one, diba, sa local government code.
MLGOO Balikod commented that the current qualifications for elective officials are unfair, as some individuals with valuable experience and skills may not have had access to education. She proposed creating alternative pathways, such as allowing individuals to undergo training before assuming to office.
Only point is I want to comment on the qualification of elected officials. I found it unfair because there are individuals who possesses experiences, skills, pero very capable. So it is unfair because not all of us have access on education, labi na sa una panahon. Diba?
MLGOO Binyega responded that the issue of qualifications is still under study, and alternative pathways could be considered in the recommendations.
Atong sa usadihan, maybe we can have that, but that is the alternative pathways plus na to na siya. Yes, plus na to na siya.
Murag
Alternative pathways.
Murag ingon si Ma'am Kanaya.
Attorney Pulido raised a concern about the constitutionality of extending term lengths for officials and suggested that provisions on anti-dynasty and nepotism could be strengthened. She proposed that the DILG could verify such issues through the submission of birth certificates without the need for a court hearing.
Akong comment lang, kaning sa extend term length, maan-constitutional gini siya. Very specific, Article 10, Section 8 of the Constitution, 3 years, 3 terms.
Mag-amend na sa Constitution, attorney.
Murag dako-dako gigna kay kung amendment sa Constitution
Panahon, attorney.
botohan na sa mga tao na ang amendment, murag dako-dako na siya.
Trabaho.
As to the anti-dynasty, sige, since we are already suggesting na incorporate nato ng anti-dynasty provision sa LGC, might as well also provide no kung unsay ngipon ani ba para ma-implement ng anti-dynasty. Siguro
Dr. Elizar acknowledged the points raised by all the participants and expressed hope that these discussions would contribute to the sound governance as the amendment team considers the recommendation.
Actually looking at a work that is very dynamic, is a work in progress, but at the same time it is enhancing the spiraling level of awareness. People at the same time spiraling level of participation. It is not just one's work. That's why those who are presenting are saying this is not just mine, but it is the collective awareness of those that they have sat down with. And what will come out as a revision of the points that were presented will also be a bigger collective thoughts of all of us here in this room. It is not the end. We're saying that we have started. We are thanking Ma'am Bing, for example, and Ma'am Karen for starting to think about it. And for us in the CSO, we thank the DILG for making us, helping us be a part of local governance in a way that is more empowered to engage with the different institutions and local government units, because we're always happy. We place our trust. That's why my engagement, for example, with LGA, with the projects with LGA, is always placing a hope, that stands there no matter what happens in the national level. I have so much faith in people in the DILG and how much these people are really trying to work for sound governance. Sa inyong lahat, salamat, and I rest my case.
As part of the Local Government Month celebration, the activity aimed to provide guidelines in the uniform implementation of the DILG Decentralization and Local Governance Reform Advocacy Program. As we celebrate this year's Local Government Code anniversary, may we continue to be matino, mahusay, at maaasahang kawani para sa mapagkalinga at maunlad na pamahalaang lokal. At that ends our DILG Caraga Connect for the month of October. See you next month for another meaningful discussion only here in DILG Caraga Connect.